बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर। या मुश्किल कुशा मेहरबान मौला, तौफीक, ताईद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला। ओ मुश्किल कुशा मेहरबान मौला, be the light on these Nachis tongue Mawla. So this Nachis can help the Jamaat Mawla in learning what their hearts seek Mawla. Oh Mushkil Kusha, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to all friends online. Today we are not going to discuss the book What is Soul. Instead, what we'll be doing is to discuss the answers which you've been actually questions you've been asking, and we will go through some of the questions and go into detail of these questions to understand, hopefully from all the aspects the questions are being asked. So with Maula's name, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I would like to acknowledge all those friends who have been asking questions, and so thank you for being patient and asking questions. So the first question is, if our akal tells us something, say logical, then it is different from censoring soul, which do you choose? It's like, which do you follow, the heart or the head? If you follow the censoring soul, then things don't always work in the modern world. Do we still need to keep a balance, or is it 100% follow censoring soul? And this is a pretty recent question. Before I go on to answering this question, we do now very well understand these three terms which we hear. Nafse Ammara, which is the carnal soul, and the reference from Quran is 12/53. So those friends who are truly wanting to learn, I'm sure they will open up their Quran and highlight these words at least, because we are reviewing these words, these terms from the Quran. So Nafse Ammara is the carnal soul, which means the soul, the nafs, which we call in Ginan man. Man ne maha badwant kahiye, that is the man, the carnal soul. It always seeks instant gratification. It keeps us slave, making us follow our instincts. Whereas the next level is Nafse Lawama, the censoring soul. The reference to that term is 75/2. And then comes satisfied soul, Nafse Mutma'inna. And reference for that is chapter 89, verse 27. As the friend who has asked this question, they're asking, when we are on the journey to kill this Nafse Ammara, and this censoring soul, conscious soul, guiding soul, which keeps us telling us, do this and don't do that. Do we follow this censoring soul all the time, like it's the kind of, head or the heart? And very interestingly, when that term I was reading, the questioner had asked head or the heart, I recall this Quranic verse. It is chapter 22, verse 46. And very interestingly, it says, verily, it is not the eyes that grow blind, but it is the hearts which are in the breasts that grow blind. So when we think of following our heart or following our head, because we think that heart always leads us to wrong path. But in reality, we will have to understand that it is the intellect. With the intellect, our heart, our eyes, our brain is guided. The one who does not have the knowledge, they are as if having the eyes, but they are blind. Each one of us has eyes, ears, heart. And in this worldly life, we all live, go through challenges of the worldly life, deal with these carnal desires. At the same time, we all are gathered here for one reason only. We want to learn this knowledge to get close to the light of Iman. So question would be, why some are successful and some are not? Let us take the example of Pir Sadruddin. In Farman, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed to this Imam, Mawla says that Pir Sadruddin had eyes and ears just like you. Eyes and ears just like you. But his heart was with us. Now in this Quranic verse, it says that the eyes are not blind, it's the hearts which are ignorant, which do not accept knowledge. And that's how they are ignorant, they are astray. Pir Sadruddin had eyes and ears like us. He lived in this world. He also had nafs-e amara, but his heart was not like us. When we think this fight between the heart and the mind, we'll have to think very carefully. Mawla says that Pir Sadruddin's heart was not like us. What was the difference? And here when we read this Quranic verse, what was the difference? Heart is heart. The difference is actually due to knowledge. When a Mu'min is Salik has true knowledge, his heart and head will be at the same direction. Let us review Maulana Hazri Imam's Farman of Sidhpur, India, Friday, May 16th, 2008. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Lastly, I would say to my Jamaat, don't forget that Deen and Dunya has to be followed together in parallel. In Islam, you do not give up Dunya for Deen, but you do not give up Deen for Dunya. They are to be lived together. You live the ethics of your faith, you live every day that faith. And if there are times outside the normal hours of prayers that you wish to seek support, take your tasbih with you. Keep your tasbih with you. And call Ya Allah, Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad. Take your tasbih with you. But don't give up the world of faith for the world of material affairs. To each and every one of you, I give my warmest, my affectionate, my best loving blessings. Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. In this Farman, Mawla is clearly saying that Deen and Dunya has to be lived together. So when we think of heart and head being separate, in reality it is not. What is missing? It's the knowledge. If we were to have the knowledge, our heart would be at the right place and our head would be at the right place. Because as a smiley Mu'min, we are not going to leave the worldly life and become a monk to get close to Imam's Nur. That is not acceptable in our tariqah. We got to live in this world, meaning we got to listen to our heart and head. The difference is Momin Salik's heart is based on the guiding soul, the censoring soul, and not Nafse Amara. So what I'm saying, conceptually, with knowledge, we will be able to distinguish the difference of this commanding soul, making a slave of the instincts, versus the censoring soul, leading us to the right path. Either we live a worldly life, fulfilling worldly duties, or if we are walking on the spiritual path. They both are together, they both are parallel. It's not separate. We are walking on the spiritual path. They both. There's another beautiful farman I'd like to quote here, and this is July 8, 1999 at Eglimont. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Islam in its intellectual strength is a guiding principle. Now this farman is actually not fully related, but not even unrelated. So hear me out, and we are going to keep it with the context. Mullah says Islam in its intellectual strength is a guiding principle. Part of the Muslim world is going precisely in the opposite directions. It is going in the direction of obscurantist, narrow-minded, blinkered attitudes, which are anchored in past times, and which, in my view, would mean the ultimate disappearance of much of the Ummah, because they will face either a form of marginalization from the modern world, or they will adopt the modern world and forget their traditional values. That is not the interpretation of Islam that I will ever wish to see in our Jamaat. And therefore, we have to continue to work on presentation, articulation of the faith, the pluralist tradition in faith, strength of intellect that has been there in such a way that younger generations are comfortable with the notion that you can live in the modern world. Let your intellect function creatively. Still be practicing Shia Ismaili Muslim. That is very important. So in this Farman, we can very clearly see that if one were to follow the way our parents or grandparents used to follow our tariqah, which may not be applicable in today's time, the times are different. That does not mean that the values we followed were not correct. And if we were to think of modern world and the demands of the modern world and leave our tradition, that would not be right. Very interestingly, Imam is saying that if you are in this generation and you are struggling with this modern world and this, following of the faith, how would you marriage both these things? And Mullah is saying, be creative in your intellectual function. It is based on your intellect that how would you work it out. And of course, Imam is saying, emphasizes the pluralistic tradition in our faith. That is the strength of intellect. So we can live in the modern world, in modern time, and also practice Ismaili tariqa. Modern values or Western values aren't our values. We live in West, we be loyal to our countries, but we have our own values. We don't compromise on our values, but use intellect, become creative, and follow our faith, living in the modern society. So question was, our friend had asked, if you follow the sensing soul, then things don't always work in the modern world. This is the answer Imam is giving us. We don't have to go anywhere else. Imam is reading our mind and giving us the answer that we do live in the modern world. And the questioner is asking, so do we still keep a balance, or is it 100% following the censoring soul? To that last part of the question, I would say, I would quote Imam's Farman. Imam has said in Farman that our faith is based on conviction. and not convenience. Each one of us has to use our own intellect, which is based on knowledge, make decisions, again based on our ilm, our knowledge, and knowing that we have this liberty to make a decision, make a choice based on knowledge. And then it will be okay, because we will make a knowledge-based decision. So I hope I have answered your question. Question number 2, very interestingly, this friend had quoted Quranic verse in it says, Allah says, fear me. Why? Fear is also mentioned elsewhere as well. Why fear him? He is a Rahman and a Rahim. So why? To answer that question, I am quoting another Quranic verse, which is chapter 33, verse 45. And it says, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, inna arsalnaka shahidan wa mubashirin wa naziran. O Prophet, surely we have sent you as a witness and as a bearer of good news and as a warner. A warner. It is one of the function, one of the duty of Prophet to make us, to give us warning. How one can warn us? By telling us, if you don't do this, this and that, this will be your punishment. And that we take it as a fear, because we don't like the consequences of our wrongdoings. And we ask question that why fear? You know, one of the example you would hear my friend would be giving, that if you were to give an example take an example of a child, you would teach the child, don't go out because there is a monster outside and monster can harm you. In reality, we are protecting our children, going out and stranger, kidnap, abuse, whatever, we are protecting our children, but we give them this fear that don't go out, outside there is a monster. But we cannot give this same example or same fearful factor to stop or to control our adult children from going out, because it would not work. So what here we are saying, that when we are young in our age, we may respond to fear. But if a mu'min and sadiq is adult, who is responsible, accountable for actions, their own actions, they may not, for them, fear may not work. These are two different ways of teaching people. By giving them warning, showing them the result of their actions, making them scared or giving them fear, or giving them hope that if you were to do good, then you'll be rewarded. The news of glad tidings are given. These are two normal way of motivating people. Those who do not respond to glad tidings, and interestingly, what I'm learning, majority respond to fear and guilt. There is another example which we need to understand. When we talk of guilt, fear gives us guilt, right? Guilty conscience. When we talk of nafse ammara, the one which makes us slave of our instincts, but then there's a sensing soul, that inner voice keeps telling us, you should not do this. What you did was wrong. It's like guilty conscience. And the way we just recently learned that how Western culture minimizes the guilt to the extent that one can become unaware of that voice which is inside us, which is nafse lawama, telling us to do the right thing. And we do see in Western world, because of this guilt being minimized, people are more and more becoming self-centered, becoming free of this guilt, entering into the category of selfishness. There's a fine balance. There's a fine balance which one has to achieve. When we talk of a mu'min, and a mu'min who is mu'min and salih, That Mu'min Salik, who is a student, Mustajib, learning this true knowledge, looks forwards to glad tidings. Why? Because he or she is truly, sincerely working on the path. They listen to their nafs lawama. For them, it is not a guilty consciousness per se, but reminder to not do bad, but continue to do good. Mu'min Salik who are mustajib, they are constantly checking their pulse, taking their own accounts to make sure that they are not doing anything wrong. So for them, it's a different level of understanding because they are listening to nafs lawama, which is the guiding soul. So this nafs lawama has several names. It's a censoring soul, it's a conscious soul, it's a guiding soul, it's a soul of Imam which guides us. All these are different names of nafs lawama. What we are trying to understand, how does fear takes place in the whole scenario? Where do we fit the fear? And how do we as individual, this is very individualized approach. Some of us respond to fear and guilty conscience, whereas some of us would respond to encouragement. Everybody is different. Very interestingly, this is a beautiful farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. May our souls be sacrificed to this Imam. This farman is from Zanzibar, 13 September 1899. An Imam in this farman talks of bridge of Sirat. And he says that this lifetime is the bridge which we need to cross. God is not a magician that he's going to throw a rope and pull us up because he's Rahman and Rahim. That's what Imam is saying. God is not a magician. Surely he's Rahman and Rahim. How do we understand that? That at one point in time we are saying he's Rahman and Rahim, and the other point in time we are saying that he gives us warning. What happens when a Mu'min Salik walks on the path with complete sincerity, works hard to kill this carnal soul, listen to nafs lawama and perform the right deeds? And let's say that Mu'min Salik's time is complete on this earth, but he was still kind of not there yet to be one with the Imam. Imam is so Rahman and Rahim, with his rahmat, he will pull him towards him. Why? Because that Mu'min Salik was sincerely working on the path to get close to Imam. But our lifetime on this planet is counted, it's limited. We don't have liberty to waste time. We got to learn the knowledge, we got to understand what is our purpose in coming to this world and achieve it. On the path of achievement, if one is not able to complete the task, Imam will show mercy. Otherwise, Khuda is not Rahman. Why and how? Let's say there's another individual who does not follow any, does not do any good deeds, does not follow any commands of Allah, is not obedient, does not think of hereafter, and is doing everything what his nafs ammara is telling him to do. Because he's Rahman and Rahim, he will take care of that soul too. And then what about that soul, that Mu'min Salik soul, the Mu'min Salik who worked so hard during whole his lifetime? Will he not get reward? What is the difference between that Mu'min Salik who worked so hard compared to that smiley Mu'min who did not believe in hereafter, did not benefit from the knowledge, and just lived following the nafs ammara? We have people like that. There has to be a difference, right? Otherwise, automatically it becomes unjust situation. And Khuda Mawla is not unjust. He is just. Though we do not want his justice, we always ask for his mercy. But mercy is dependent upon our action. So in other words, what I'm saying, when we hear these words of fear, it is the role of our prophets and our Imam to warn us. That is one of the function, one of the duty that they are here to warn us, to remind us, as well as give us the glad news of the glad tidings, that if we were to do this, we will get paradise. So I hope that answer was sufficient. Now this is a very interesting question. It has layers of question in it, and we will go through that question step by step. So let me first read this question. And this question says, what was in existence before Adam? Have we not evolved step by step from mineral to vegetative to animal and finally to become human with intellect? If not, then what about much avatar and other avatars? Is this also just a Hindu belief? If yes, then Adam was created and put on earth, and everything, Maya, was created for his distraction, to recognize the truth and journey back home. Please elaborate on the smiley understanding and ta'wil. So let's tackle this question step by step, because it is too many concepts are in that question. So the first verse I would like to quote from Quran is chapter 30, verse 30. And you have heard this verse in very many lectures. It talks about Deen Hanif, that Allah's habit does not change. There is no altering of Allah's creation. Allah's habit does not change. The way He creates, the same way He'll create. There is no changes in Allah's habit. If we were to say that there was a time when there was nobody on this planet Earth and Adam came, or there was nothing in this planet. However, one of the name of Allah is Khaliq. Khaliq means creator. If there was nothing, then his name, Khaliq, does not apply. If the creator is there, creation has to be there. If we call someone mother or father, it implies that they have children. We may not see the children. It is automatically given that mother would have children, that's why she's a mother, or father would be father because he has children. So Khaliq without Khalqat does not make sense. So na'uzubillah, we are not saying that we are not accepting, that Allah is Khaliq and He's been Khaliq and He's always had creation. It is just for the learning's sake that we are taking this approach to talk about it like that. Otherwise, we are very grateful Allah is our Khaliq and we are His creation. And not any creation. We are His best creation. And then, very interestingly, because this friend has asked about what was in existence before Adam, as if we do not know about this planet. So let us read this reference. This reference has been translated by Dr. Fakir Muhammad Hunzai, and I'll read this reference. Hazrat Umman Nida binte Kisra Shehrbano requested Hazrat Imam Ali Zainul Abidin to tell her about the age of the world. How much time has transpired and how much is yet left. And Mawla says, as far as the elapsed time is concerned, we will tell you. But as far as the time yet to come is concerned, that is not possible to tell. With regards to the elapsed time, there have been 400,000 core passed. In each core, which is 400,000, in each core, 400,000 doors or cycles have passed. This is such a thing that no one except God can do its proper counting. Note that one door or one cycle is approximately 1,000 years. According to this calculation, the age of the world is 16 Pidan. 16 by, I cannot even read that mathematical equation. So interestingly, the age of this world is 160 billion years. How many? 160 billion years. According to general scientific knowledge, the age of the universe is approximately 14 billion years. They have not been able to find out what our Imam has already told us. This planet is very old. And if we have accepted that he is Khalik, his habit does not change, meaning creation has always been there and this world has been there for that long time. So the next part of the question, which is, have we not evolved step by step from mineral to vegetative to animal and finally to human with intellect? This is what we've been hearing from different theorists, but we've been studying this book, What is Soul? And in which we have studied this. This is directly from the book I have taken out, which we have studied in our classes on Wednesdays. That human soul, it is called Ruhe Insani. This human soul, Ruhe Insani, has vegetative soul, which helps us grow. It has animal souls too, which gives us these instincts, the feelings and the movement. And then comes the human soul, which we call rational soul, that completes around at the age of 10 years. And it is in the center, in front of the brain, which gives us a speech and judgment and discernment. So in other words, when our friend is asking that did we not evolve from step by step? So answer is no, we did not. These are all stages. A human goes through it. Very interestingly, a person who never seeks knowledge and only follows the carnal soul, according to these stages of our souls, our being, that person stays constantly on animal soul. Whatever he or she feels, they react to it. Anger would be their friend. Jealousy would be their friend because they have no rational soul. A human soul has a rational. It is based on the intellect, but then intellect has to be flourished, developed based on true knowledge. Surely one can have worldly intellect, worldly knowledge, but that is not enough. That is not the purpose of having intellect. So to answer your question, my dear friend, no, we did not evolve. These are all stages of our soul. And sometimes friends quote Imam's Farman talking about Rumi, that Rumi has said that I was like an ant, and then I was like a monkey, and now I'm human. From here, where will I go? I'll become an angel. He was talking about the stages of his own soul when he was not moving further on the journey of recognition. He was like an ant standing there. And then when he was all following the instincts, it was like behaving like an animal. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, in his Farman, has talked about Jismani Deen, physical religion. That if you do not teach your children the true religion, they'll be following the religion as if they're monkeys. What does monkey do? Monkey see, monkey do. And that's exactly what Rumi was saying, that I was just following what I was seeing my parents doing. I did not understand why were they doing, what was the benefit of it. I was just doing it the way we've done. We've followed our parents until we became human with intellect and knowledge. Then we want to know, why am I doing what I'm doing? And what will happen if I don't do it? What are the consequences? And if I'm adult, I want to become responsible for my actions, and so on. So these are stages of our own souls, not that we were animals and became human. Allah's treasure is not limited. It's not limited that he has limited souls for human, so he has to convert animal soul to let them become humans. No, we do not believe on that evolution theory. The next question, next part of the question is, if we have not evolved from animals, then what about much avatar and other avatars? Is this also just a Hindu belief? Very interestingly, I believe very firmly I believe that all of us, we have come to understand that our peers have given us the ginans based on our concepts which were familiar to us at that time. They talked about all we knew at that time and helped us move to Ismaili Tariqa. They made us first Muslim and Ismaili. So we understand that. If we understand, we do now know that there is no reincarnation, then where this question is coming from, because we have accepted about peers and the ginans. So this question is coming from actually Imam's saying. This mission conference speech of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah is available online, and I would highly recommend each one of you to read the whole speech. But here I'm going to quote just some extracts because that's what this questioner is asking. And I would love to read whole of this. It's so important. The first regrettable thing about all missionaries and religious activities is that Mola says, I am sorry to say, gentlemen, that a person like Dr. Ivanovo of Russia knows more about Ismaili religion and its meaning than most of our bhagats put together and many of our leading gentlemen. And then another point I picked up, number 2, Mola says, in 1905, Jumma Bhagat, one of our great missionaries who had rendered great services to me, and very, very pious Ismailis came to me, that is exactly 40 years ago, and said that in dua, the word which referred to fish should be withdrawn. I said to them, do you intend to drop one of the foundations of the faith? When there was nothing but fish on earth, God stood as witness. And you must have no doubt to that kind of witness from above. And of course, they understood and dropped it. In Bombay, 8 years ago, many of our people came to me and requested to add just one word in the dua. And then they said everything was all right. I asked, what was that one word? They said that instead of Ali Allah, to say Aliyun Wali Allah. So I said, you'd better drop the whole dua if you want to alter that word. You are ignorant. It is your ignorance and not that Ali Allah is wrong. I say Ali Allah because Imam says it is the right thing to say. I firmly believe in Ali Allah. But that's beside the question which we are trying to study. So this questioner, who is talking about fish, it's not from Ginan. It is actually from Maula's words. How do we understand this when Maula says that fish was there on the earth and God stood witness? We will have to understand the way Imam and our prophets speak. They speak in allegories. Imam, when he's talking about earth, when there was nothing, it is this moment, when there was nothing. In this moment's heart, all of us, we are all individual earth. How? Because Maula Ali said that you think of yourself as a small being, the whole universe is within you. We, as the one individual, is taken the example of as a universe. In Quran also, wherever we read earth, it is actually referring to a mustajib. Remember, we know the definition of mustajib. Who is the witness over mustajib? A mu'min who says, I do not know. Whatever my age is, whatever my profession is, whatever my worldly success and titles are, I don't know and I want to learn. That humility, that acceptance of not knowing and wanting to learn makes that mu'min mustajib. God is witness to that mustajib, that earth, that planet, which is now going to flourish. Fish is the example of our soul. When there was nothing in this earth, what was there? Soul was there. Nourished or not nourished, but soul was there. Without soul, earth cannot be there. Soul has to be there. Allegorically, fish has been used in the example of soul. And how do I say that? I do want to show you this farman too. That Mola says that when I give you farman, it is like I am giving you these seeds to put in your soil, as if we are planet, we are earth, and his farmans are the seeds. Those moments whose soil is ready to accept, meaning they are mustajib, they are willing to accept the water, they are willing to say, you know what, whatever my age and profession or titles are, I don't know and I need to learn. Then what happens? Best fruits will be grown from it, inshallah. That is Imam's dua. So when we read of earth, when Imam says that when there was nothing in this planet, God stood witness. Surely God is our witness. When there was nothing on this earth, the fish was there. And that fish is actually our soul. Another example of fish, because we need to understand these allegories. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his Farman in Kalam Imam Mubin, in Quran, there's a story of Musa. Musa being the Paigambar, Jalali Paigambar, who knew so much of knowledge. In fact, he used to teach and all the worldly prince would come and learn from him. One day while he's teaching these prince and all these higher ranking worldly people, he is being told that you need to go seek knowledge and take with you a fish, dried fish which is dry and dead. He goes to a journey with his companion Maulana Harun, and where this fish touches the water, it comes to life. Fish which is dead, which is dried, but when it touches the water, it comes to life. Tell me, have you ever seen dead fish coming to life? No, logically it does not make sense. It is all allegorical knowledge. The soul, which is like a dead, malnourished, dead, dried. But as soon as there is a water of knowledge comes to that soul becomes alive. And that's what Imam is saying. Avatar means manifestation, and I'll tell you about it. But let me just finish this allegory, understanding of this allegory fish. There is another story of Yunus, and we all have heard that Prophet Yunus was swallowed whole into the belly of fish. And someone would say, challenge, no, this fish was given example as of world. But how world? Try and understand, go further. World means what? A soul which is attached to the worldly life, meaning the follower of the carnal soul. It's not that the Prophet Yunus was attached to the worldly life or worldly soul. Remember, all these examples, these stories are given to us for us to learn from the examples. Prophet Yunus was a prophet, but for us to learn, he gave us a lesson. How? By being swallowed fully, whole, in the tummy of fish. And then he does this zikr, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. And the story goes on that this fish throws him out. And then he goes into the land and he then has students and he continues to teach and live his life. But the understanding we are seeking is that belly of fish, meaning this world, meaning that soul, which is connected to the worldly desire or worldly life. If yes, then was Adam created and put on earth and everything Maya was created for him to be distracted and then to recognize the truth, to journey back home? Please elaborate on Ismaili understanding and Tawil. The Ismaili understanding in Tawil is that we believe in cycles. We believe in cycles. It is not one Adam. There has been so many Adams, unlimited Adam. How do I say it? Because Imam gave us the life of this planet, this earth. And if one cycle is of 1,000 years, every 7,000 years, there is a new Adam. So Adams have come and Adams have gone. When Adam comes, it's not that when Adam comes, he is the first man in that cycle, meaning there is a previous cycle, there is an Imam, because without Imam, this world will not last. Imam has to be here on this planet all the time, always. Imam of the previous cycle gives Ismail Azam to Adam, and that's how the cycle continues. It's the beginner of the cycle whose name is not even Adam, his title is Adam. So it's the cycle we are talking about. So we will have to understand the meaning of what Imam is telling us. And I would like to quote few Ginans here because we do feel close to Ginans. And in this, Sayyid Imam Shah says, Jire bhaire noore noor sarve alaj chali, Guruji noon rupe pechano ji, Guruji noor rupe pechano ji. All living brothers, the entire progeny is perpetuated through his light in the manner of light upon light. Know the form of the guide. In other words, Jire bhaire ved ilmahe Guruji ni saakh, tame doe mat kari jano ji. Oh living brothers, note he is saying living brothers. The soul is no more dried or dead. The soul is coming to life. And to whom? To those people who are living, Pir is saying, all living brothers in the scriptures and ilm, divine knowledge and wisdom. There is the link of the guide. Do not consider both of them as separate or different. Jire bhaire ale rupe avar chikiya, Nabi Muhammad Guru Aya ji. O living brothers in the form of Ali, Jire bhaire Ali rupe avar jikiya, Nabi Muhammad Guru Aya ji. O living brothers in the form of Ali, he has completely manifested, and the guide Prophet Muhammad has come. And we have discussed in the last class or previous class that why we say the name of Ali, because in this cycle he is the first Imam. And Prophet Muhammad is the Natik. Jire bhaire Nabi Muhammad Guru Burma Jano, te Sadgur Noor Nirvana ji. O living brothers, Prophet Muhammad is the light of Brahma. We will not focus on that because that goes into different direction. We need to stay here. That's where Pir is teaching us. Prophet Muhammad is the creator. Those who are interested, those who have complete knowledge, are very confident in their own knowledge, and then they want to learn the older, stagnant religion of Hinduism, sure, free will is with us. But first, our focus is that we need to know about our mazhab, Islam, and our tariqah, Ismaili tariqah. All living brothers, Prophet Muhammad is the light of the Creator. He is indeed the light of the true guide for certain. Jire bhaire noore noor siraji avya, te avtare ji. O living brothers, having established himself based upon the concept of light upon light, he has arrived. Avtare ji. He is indeed manifestation upon manifestation. So the word avatar means manifestation. Prophet Muhammad is the manifestation. Maula Ali is the manifestation. And surely Hindu religion was right when there was a living guide. Mullah's Farman Mullah says that Ram was a Paigambar. But when Ram was a Paigambar in that religion was a living with that religion was true with a living guide in it. At that time it was a true religion. When there is no living guide, that religion becomes stagnant because Allah's deen is dynamic. It continues to go on. And today, the living guide is only in Ismaili tariqah. So which manifestation we are interested to learn about? And what are we being taught by our Pir? The light of the true guide for certain. Light upon light. What Peer are telling us? The peers are telling us to recognize the light upon light, manifestation upon manifestation. Do we truly understand what peers are telling us? Our peer told us about ilm and wisdom. Where was it? The scripture and the ilm. Have we gotten all the knowledge? So I hope that I have answered your question. The focus, the question you were asking, my dear friend, I would like to reread your question because it's an important question, because it must be in so many people's mind, but it was you who were able to comprehend and give this question. So I'm grateful for you to ask this question. What was in existence before Adam? We understand now. Have we not evolved step by step from mineral, vegetative, animal to human soul with intellect? No. It is all the stages of the soul. Avatar, much avatar, Imam is talking allegorically. Imam is talking allegorically. When we talk of Adam, it is the cycle change we are talking about. This world has been there for a very, very long time. So it is not one Adam, it is multiple, hundreds and hundreds of Adam we are talking about. So I hope that we understand, and now we will never be confused if we were to hear Imam talking about much avatar. So we'll end here and we'll continue, inshallah. Shukr Maula, thank you. It's all due to your prayers. All right, then I'll take your leave, friends, and inshallah I'll see you tomorrow. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, thank you so much.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, thank you so much.
Molani Madad, Mola
Shukr
સેવાનો બદલો બને જાનમાં પ્રમાવે બધા સેવા કરવાલા હિંમત શક્તિ પ્રેરણા અને તંદુરસ્તી અને મોકો આપે મોલા બધા ઈમાન જિંદગીના છેલ્લા દમ સુધી સલામત રાખે મોલા અલ્લાહ બેલી મોલા નેક ઉમેદ પૂરી કરે અલ્લાહ બેલી શુકર મોલા યાલી મત